Welcome again. It's a Monday. Sean Higgs coming at you here for Winner Circle YouTube channel. As always, I got Chip Chrimbes and Doug Upstone with me. We'll be doing some NBA here on a Monday. Before we get to that, we start out. We hit the like, subscribe, notification on, so each and every day we come in with free pick videos all the time. NBA and college hoops. Basically, the baseball season. Doug's happy on the ice. No problem. Free pick video, ice videos. Not so much we do here, but we do have you covered with hockey, NBA, college hoops, and of course, there's a football game coming up this weekend. Apparently, people might be interested in that, but you can head over to gamblesworld.net for those things. Because the Super Bowl, I'm sure, is going to be up at gamblesworld.net with our premium action. Again, this is the free pick show, folks. You want our best bets? You head over to Gamblers World, where our 3 7-30 packages are guaranteed. No hiding from the records. We win over that period of time. You win, we lose, we credit you back. There you go. Day passes are great, especially over weekends when there's a lot of college basketball and NBA and hockey, and there's multiple games up, multiple packages up from the cappers on the site. Get a day pass for $69.99. Save you a little bit of money. We make you a little bit of money. That's what it's about here. Man, my phone's going crazy here. It happens. That's what happens when you do a semi-live show in the afternoon here. So, gentlemen, we're talking some NBA today, but let's just greetings. Hello. I want to see how the weekend was for you. I haven't seen you guys since last week. What you got going on for Monday, and as we're looking forward to, Super Bowl as well. But we're going to start with Doug. How are you, my friend? How was the weekend? I know we're talking off air a little bit about the college basketball before we get on, but
yeah. Well, it wasn't. Things didn't go exactly as planned for college basketball, but hey, you know what? That is part of the game, and ad nauseum. I'm not going to talk about overtime again. You two have already heard me talking about it. So, but yeah, I have to admit, in college basketball, I've gone through kind of a dull period, and the last night, and actually the same thing with the NBA, just kind of meandering along, not really doing anything good or bad. And so I made some changes coming in starting today. And so I'm excited to get things going. Just made some alterations because I had a lot of success early. Like I said, kind of gone through this duller period. So the idea is to pick it back up, especially coming into February. February and March, because once April hits NBA, well, actually after the All-Star game, the lines really get tougher. And then college basketball, it's about preparation now for the NCAA tournament. Got a ton of revenge games, in college basketball coming on a nightly basis. So you have to be prepared for that stuff. So I made some changes. Got a 2-0 guaranteed package today at Gamblers World, and I also have an NBA game, a Monday masher. How's that one for you? A little verbiage there. And so we have that going. No hockey today. Hockey continues to roll along. 65 and 32, I believe, is what it is since October. Nothing today, just one game, and didn't like it. But there's probably going to be 10 or more games tomorrow. I'll be all over that for sure.
There you go. Be sure to get all Doug's premium plays at gamblersworld.net. As you said, he's got a 2-pack of college hoops, an NBA Monday masher. I'm looking at NBA 55% in January, not too bad. Or last 30 days, 57% on the ice. Again, the last 30 days for the season, you're right up there on the leaderboard. Not a bad run there from Doug Upstone at Gamblers World. Get the premium plays, folks. Why not? Support the channel, support Doug. He'll make you some money. He has. Speaking of making money, our NBA guys here, Chip Chrimbes, joining us on a Monday. As always, good to see you, Chip. How was the weekend? And, before, we had mentioned a little something off air about football. Tell us how the weekend was. But then hit us with a little this day in sports, like out of the bat, because after your thing, we're gonna get into some NBA, but we got a lot to talk about with some trades this week.
Right. Well, the weekend for me, mixed bag, and I split out in college basketball. I lost my best bet on Saturday, but the weekends in the NBA, the last 3 weeks, believe it or not, Saturdays and Sundays, I've been 11-0. Went 5-0 this weekend with a 3-0 sweep on Saturday. So the NBA is just looking really up to par for me right now. And I've got 2 games out there tonight individually, and I passed on the college because it just didn't shore up for me. But, we got the big game, the NFL this weekend, and I'm pretty excited about that. I've only looked over about 12,461 props, and I decided that I don't like any of them. No, there are some interesting things out there as far as the props go.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
What's more important, by the way? Is it the game or is it the props? That's
For me, it's the game always. You know.
No. But I'm saying in the school of public opinion anymore. I mean, it's just everything you're seeing is props and props. You know what?
Right.
You know, everybody's got this, and so it just. I mean, it feels. I mean, it's not, but it feels like right now, like props are more important than the actual game is.
Well, I think overall now they're taking at least 50% of the action is on the
Right.
props as opposed
Right.
to sides and totals. Yeah. And it used to be that the total was a prop for me. I mean, now we have all kinds of different matchups, and some of them are getting players in trouble. We've seen that in the NBA already.
Yeah, well, you know, we could talk about Terry Rozier there as well. We'll talk about things, but the prop wise, listen, they are just angling sports betting to younger and younger crowd, right? These young kids get in with their fantasy sports and players, and that's how they lure them in because, you know, trying to get a generation that just swipes after like 10 seconds on their phone and has no, I don't even know, attention span, right? I mean, they're not looking to bet something for 3 hours.
They need instant gratification. You know, they need it like first quarter, first half, opening tip, and
exactly. We need a
but
first.
You know
basket.
what? You know, the A play for me was like the one big game, and let's make some money on one game. But these people are paying $10, $20 on, 30, 40 different props and in-game action at the same time. Mm-hmm. And there's continuously updating it. And I see these guys on the phone all the time, and I'm asking them, what's your bankroll like? And they're betting $5, $10, and $20. So it's not like they're putting out 500 or 1,000 on one game. And I think for the most part, they're happy if they chop.
Yeah, well,
I'm out here to make some money and try and win. But I don't know if that's what they're doing.
It's like the commercial say, if you want to have fun with your friends, bet. No, I'm not having fun. Like,
plus the fact you have to lay on those props, they always make you lay a higher juice, and you're not getting the best of the odds by any stretch.
No. But they're, like you said, they're having fun. They're not trying to make money. They're having fun doing a bunch of stuff. I don't want to have fun. I want to make money playing a game. Sit there and live betting, and we've talked about this before. You're going to live bet. You already have an opinion on a game. You like the dog, you like the favorite, whoever it is, and all of a sudden that team is up or down. And you're like, oh, well, look at this. I'm getting better, more points. And you're just playing on your phone, hitting a button. There's no money exchange. All you're doing is getting it out off your credit card or reloading or whatever. And next thing, your initial bet that even, like, again, $5, $10 players, that bet turns into $100 during a live game. And you're betting 10 times your normal average.
Yep.
That's all right, because you know what? They get up the next morning and go to work. They don't care about that, because it's just a credit card bill. I always said, even when it came to AC in North Jersey at the Meadowlands, when I could go in person, like how many times, right? We'll get on the phone, call somebody. I don't want a ticket. I want to go, see it in my hand. I don't want it on the phone. Give me something. A lot harder when you're chalking out a stack of hundreds to pay for a play. And they give you an index card back that's this big, a piece of paper. Then it's like you're in the casino, right? Pretty chips all over. Look how pretty these are. Oh, nice orange chips. They're $1,000. Nice black and purple, $500. Yeah, they're real pretty. That's real money. But they look nice when you're just throwing them around. Oh, look at this! I'm making a little rainbow on the craps table. Yeah. No. If that was real money on the table, it would change people's like on your phone. It would change your total aspect of how you're really betting. But. Go ahead, Doug. I know you're gonna say something.
No. I mean, I don't. I completely agree. Excuse me. And they're and sportsbooks are only doing it for one reason. They're making a lot of money on props. Okay, across the board. So I mean, it's nothing more than that. There's some definite sharp prop players, and the Super Bowl actually, and both of you guys know people like this. I do too. Who actually just are sort of like, okay bettors during the course of the season during the NFL. They don't bet a lot of games, stuff like that. But these guys, when the numbers come out, they are ready to go. Like the Thursday before, the Thursday before the week before the Super Bowl, when those props start coming out, they're jumping all over it. And some of these guys are quite sharp at it, and they can make a couple of guys I know, it's happened to them. They can take a living or make a living in one day for what the average person makes in a year. And
they come in and listen. We know these guys, and they're not running to bet a bunch of overs on these things. They're doing this. They send out these parlay cards, and they're taking 5 guys to go under, And the Bad Beat Refund crew comes in here yelling on Twitter and X like, "Oh my goodness, I want to." Everybody's just bet. You could bet unders, folks. I'm just saying. You want to look at one of these sheets from the Westgate or Circa or South Point and go through all those and put a quarter, 50 cents or a dollar. I mean, I know there's hundreds of them. You take every under, I will pretty much guarantee you're going to make money on those things. You take all those unders and all those player props, you are making money. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Chip, you know that. There's no.
I have no idea. I'm not a prop guy at all.
No, I agree with you, Sean. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's hard to say that, but specifically, but yeah. I mean, generally speaking,
there's so many because one might, there'll be some, an overtime bet. It goes to overtime. And it's 2001. It's going to wipe out all the things. But I'm talking about like a player over under prop when you have all these for all these guys.
So you're just going to blanket the unders, and it doesn't matter who you like or who you don't like, is what you're saying.
I'm just saying, people run to take the overs and favorites, right? What do they take? They're taking over.
Yeah.
I mean,
yep.
You're on Twitter, guys, right? I mean, how many you see people post everything? How many unders are there posted? Never. You never see people posting under Barkley rushing yard. Everything's an over, right? Passing yard over.
Well, because that's what they want to watch.
Over, exactly. So your mind's already wired to doing that.
Yeah. So so basically what you're saying is they're not doing the coin toss. Is that what you're saying? Pretty much.
I mean, we thought it was degeneracy when the coin toss, when you could bet that back on like some website back in 90.
You and I could do coin tosses without a vig if you want.
And now it's let's do the song to start the game. It's going to be a song. Are they going to show this person in the stands 3 times?
Oh, yeah, that's all out there. I mean, the Gatorade, Kool-Aid, all that stuff. I got to write an article about that later this week. So, yep, I get to cover all the fun stuff.
Oh, all right. So,
not here though. Sorry, the article's not here. Just someplace else.
I was going to say, before we get into the NBA trades, Doug does his basketball, NBA, and college hoops write-ups here for little articles at Gamblers World. They come out Wednesdays, I believe, right? Wednesday, Thursdays?
Wednesday for NBA, Friday for college. Yep.
There you go. So be on the lookout for that. That's why you sign up, get your little email alerts here from Gamblers World. Not only do you get premium plays and discounts, you get articles from our guy Doug. Now, there'll be no article from Doug on this, but some dude, Luka, gets traded for AD. Now, I'm down here in Texas, and all over my Twitter feed is that they got rid of this guy. They didn't ask any other team. They called and said, "Hey, we'll give you want Luka for AD." And the thinking behind this is that the owners of the Mavs are like, you know what? You're not going to build us a new stadium. You're not going to get – they wield a lot of power down here in Dallas area apparently. And they're looking for sports betting to be legalized here. So their game plan is, you're not going to legalize it because they didn't pass it this legislature. It's only every couple of years they can only do stuff down here.
Right.
They only have a certain – it's not like you can't be feeding the beast all the time. They say, no. Every 2 years. So it didn't pass. So they got to wait. So their game plan is like, okay, well, if we're not going to get this passed, we're going to tank this team and move to Vegas because the NBA wants a team in Vegas. If we're a 9-win team, because listen, they could very well win this year. They were in the finals last year, right? I mean, with Luka and Kyrie. Now you got Kyrie, you got AD, who's playing well, although he's out a lot. Clay's older, but they do have size and defense. They went on a run. It's a possibility they could do it again. Who knows? But
sure.
Go ahead.
Oh.
You're muted. You're not talking. We can't hear one word, Chip. There you go.
Did you hear me?
Now we can.
Nope. Now we can.
No, I said, are you saying that Dallas made this trade because they didn't legalize sports betting in Texas?
Dallas's ownership is looking to build a casino. And they want sports betting. They haven't passed it. So they're like, you know what? Why? I'm going to trade this guy. Maybe we'll be good this year. But we're not paying. He's up for a $350 Supermax. Now he's not getting a Supermax from Dallas because he's on the Lakers. So their thought is, we trade him. We're garbage in 2 years. We got American Airlines Stadium, which is falling apart. We're going to go to Vegas.
Interesting.
See ya.
have not.
I don't see it, tell you the truth, because they're partners with the gambling as it is. The whole league is, whether they
Yes.
have it in
So
Texas or not.
So if they can move to Vegas and have a nice brand new stadium, why are they going to stay here?
Yeah, because it's Adelson's wife.
They've already
owns the team.
Their social media has already taken a hit of tens of thousands of people after that trade. Like, how do you trade that? The fact that they didn't no other team would want to trade and give you a better draft pick than one draft pick.
What was there something behind the scenes with Doncic? He's been on the shelf injured. But,
they said that he gets fat and he balloons up to like 270. They don't like his conditioning,
right?
Because he plumps up.
And how is he when he's on the floor? I mean, my goodness,
he's 25 years old.
Yeah, I was in shock when I heard this trade, and I just I don't know, I don't get it.
I mean, what? Yeah, Doug.
Yeah, no, I mean, of course, the trade makes no sense. Okay, and I ended up then reading a bunch of articles last night about this and trying to get a better feel of the situation. And what you said, Sean, is correct. I mean, there's and it's not even his conditioning. They think goes more along the lines of not just weight, but just in general strength and in things that most of the other players do. He doesn't necessarily want to do, or his quote people don't want him to do. But I mean, he's had a series of leg injuries now, and I mean, what's the thing that robs any athlete? Okay, if your legs aren't good, you probably aren't going to be either. And so I think that was a big concern of theirs. Supposedly, the general manager absolutely in love with Anthony Davis. Just thinks he's one of the best players in the NBA. And this general manager, he came right out and said, I have a defensive mindset. I think the way we get to the finals and we can win the finals is with defense more than having offense. So that was a big part of the picture of the puzzle. And I guess in retrospect, when I thought about it and what both sides are looking at and whatever here is that if Dallas would win a championship and I'm not saying they're going to, I'm saying if they would win a championship in the next 3 years, then I think you could make the case it was a good trade. Okay. Because if that's what your goal is to do. Go ahead, Chip.
Doug, I don't think he's going to be with them for 3 years. I think Anthony Davis is going to end up forcing them to move him.
Well, he actually, as it turns out, what I read last night. Again, I'm reporting what I'm reading. Right. Is that he knew about a little bit about it. But he thought it was just hearsay. But he goes, I wouldn't mind being with the Mavericks. So
maybe I'm wrong, but my feeling was that he's going to want out of there before, like you said, within 3 years. I doubt if he's going to be there.
35 though in 3 years, so I don't know how much that's going to be left in the tank. There. So, and the parallel to it, and I know we often end up talking about baseball, is that to me it was very much a similar situation as to what the deal was with Albert Pujols. Because, I mean, the contract they signed Albert Pujols was stupid. And the only way it worked is if the Angels won a championship. Well, they never even got in the playoffs. So, I mean, it was horrible contract from the start. And this has the potential to be much the same. Now, with the Lakers, though, it's an interesting dynamic because, I mean, I don't know if this is James last year. Maybe he comes back again next year. But once again, and we've seen this in the NBA more than once, there's only one basketball. Okay. So, and in this case, it's got to be in Luka's hands more than anybody else's. So, and then, I mean, the Lakers right now are forced to make a trade for a center because they have none. They do not have a center, an NBA starting center on their roster. So even if they want to make a push for the playoffs, Luka comes back, let's say if he comes back in a week and they want to get to the playoffs, I mean, that's what they're going to, that's the only way they're going to get there this year. And then they look to then build towards the future from there. So it's a wise decision for the Lakers. There was one other, again, rumor that was out there is that supposedly some back feelers were also put out about making a trade with Luka for Antetokounmpo. That's again, I'm putting that more into the category of speculation by whom I read it from the person that wrote that had the tip, if you will. But yeah, so that's that's another interesting one. So it wasn't just one. There were some feelers put out, but I mean, obviously it was kept under the hat, and everybody was shocked. Did you saw? By the way, I don't know if either one of you guys saw this. I thought this was amazing. So the Suns were wherever the Suns were. I think they were in Portland Saturday night. And by the way, why does Kevin Durant have a phone on the bench? That was my okay. So Kevin Durant's looks at his phone, and he looks at it, and he like you can see his expression was holy crap, okay, but a lot worse. And he starts talking to his teammates on either side of him. They're all of a sudden their eyes got all this big and everything. It's like nobody could believe that just happened.
The fan said the Lakers got Luka, and Booker's like Luke or Beal. One of them was like Luka Garza, and they're like, no, Dong, and that's why he was like, you got to be kidding me. And he went, they didn't believe him.
Right. Well,
maybe have a little insight as to why the Phoenix Suns aren't winning if they're sitting there looking at their phone during the game and being concerned about other NBA players and trades.
Well,
Phoenix
the
been
guy
a major disappointment.
The guy that broke the story, Sham from ESPN, this was shown everywhere, is that when he first broke the story, he got calls from people in the industry, and then also from other people saying, has your account been hacked?
Yeah, they thought he was hacked.
That's great. Like, I mean, I saw the stuff with Luka Garza on Twitter. I was dying. Like you're saying, like they were like pulling out phones. Like, you got to be kidding me. Is that? But as Jim just said, yeah, the Suns. You got phones on the bench. I wonder why he got 21 wins. Yeah. Complete joke.
Yeah, that
one way I saw something where, and this is interesting, right? Because you bring up the fact Celtics don't have a center. The depth is, they made a trade to Lakers there. They made the trade for Finney Smith and those guys to get a little depth, right? And you figured, okay, they're trying to do something here. How about they trade LeBron before the deadline?
I don't know if
he's not going anywhere.
Trade.
Why? Let's be honest. Where's this team going with Luka and LeBron? They're not winning anything. No, you're not winning with no defense and no center. I don't care. I know it's small ball shoot three league. They're not going anywhere. They're not. That team's not winning. They're not winning the West. They're not winning their division. They're not winning the conference with Luka and LeBron and whoever the hell else. You got a guy who's 25, MVP, finals guy, whatever, looking for big money. You can get out of the LeBron nonsense with his son, everything about it, and be like, because let's be honest, LeBron, I mean, the guy's a mercenary. He wants to try to win. Ship him out somewhere. Who cares what you get back? Give me some draft picks.
Who cares?
I need to spend.
Did you see what he did at Madison Square Garden?
$45 million.
Oh, man.
He plays no defense. He's out there just grabbing stats. Just great. He's a stat grade. The guy, he's turned into Harold Baines, just compiling numbers.
Harold Baines.
Really? No, I'm sorry, Harold Baines. Although I saw a good thing from our guy, I think the Warmonger. Harold Baines is one of 11 players to have like a 280 average, like 1,500 hits. Like it's a who's who, and then you're like, how's Harold Baines on this list? But I'm just saying, LeBron, what are you bringing to the table, LeBron? You half-ass played basketball now. You're a total circus with your son on the team. Why you say? Where's this team going? Are they winning championship this year with him? No. Are they winning next year when he's 41 or 42? No. They're going to sign him again at 40. No, you're not winning with LeBron. It's not happening unless you. Who else they bringing in? They got no people to trade to bring in guys. Trade them. Get some picks.
Austin
build your team around Luka. You got a 25-year-old Kobe now on your team. I mean, I shouldn't say that because Kobe's in rarefied air. But, I mean, you got a young superstar to build around. Why not trade the guy who's up for retirement and who ruined your team by having you draft and made you a laughing stock by bringing the son in? Chip disagrees.
No, I don't think anybody can guard him. Maybe he doesn't play any defense, but I saw him at Madison Square Garden the other night, and he was unstoppable. When he wanted to go to the basket, he's going to the basket. You may foul him. He may miss the shot, but you're not stopping him.
How old is he? How many years has he got left?
I don't care if he's 90. I mean, the guy went out there and played 26 minutes, had 23 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists. I mean, he only played 24 minutes.
Because the team's garbage. Who else scores on the team?
Yeah, but they killed the Knicks.
Open Connect?
The
Rui Hachimura? They traded Max Christie. Who else is on this team?
I don't even know their roster, but I just saw him. He looked pretty good to me.
Yeah. I mean, he can still play. He can still score. And, but it's most players, and I'll actually get into this on the game I'm covering. Most players, when in latter stages of their career, defensively, they're not good. Okay. They're a liability to their team. And so somebody else has to pick up the pace. Now, with no Anthony Davis, there's nobody there to pick up the pace.
No. He's a great defensive player, but you know what? What defense do you need when teams are taking 53 3-point shots a game?
Right.
You're not guarding anything.
Right.
Exactly. I don't care about the guys scoring points. Nobody plays defense. And even if there's guys on horrific teams that score 20-something points a game. Doesn't mean they're good.
Yeah.
I have something. Before we get into the games, I got one useless trivia thing for you that I was curious because it had to do with the other trade and I was curious about one aspect of something. I did not know this though, and I don't know what his historical numbers are. I'm curious enough to look when we're done. The Joker, he's fourth in the NBA, or fourth or sixth in the NBA in steals. I thought that was amazing. Okay, first of all, center. Okay, and then it's not like you're not looking at him thinking of this guy as lightning quick. I just thought that was pretty interesting that he obviously must have quick hands to be slapping away a few balls here and there, and good for him. I mean, I have no idea what his history is on that stat, but I just thought it was fascinating to me as a
where does Wembanyama fall in that?
Nowhere near, but blocking shots.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
Yep. He's
Wemby's not even in the top 50, I don't think.
Yeah, that's first of all, even though his arms are probably what is his wingspan? I mean, what is he? Because he's what, 7'9",
he's crazy.
7'9", isn't it? I think it's 7'9", his wingspan, if I recall.
4 blocks a game, Wemby.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's huge.
Real fast on the Fox trade to the Spurs there. Nice trade for them. I guess they put who's their other guard they got there? Paul, right to the bench, I guess. He's probably upset. But it should help Wemby. I want to know what the Kings are thinking, though, with bringing Levine, because I think we've seen this combo with the Bulls before. That won nothing. I mean, that'll be my game. I got the Kings matchup tonight, but what do you think about that trade?
Go ahead, Chip.
I didn't give it much thought at all. I was so overwhelmed by the Doncic and Anthony trade. I would say this one, to me, I don't think it's going to affect the NBA and standings at all, one way or another. Sacramento, that's a big question, because I just don't see them getting any better.
I thought it was I think it's just a neutral trade for them. I mean, they knew they weren't going to be able to sign him, or they didn't want to have to sign him one way or the other, whatever the deal was. And I think they got a guy that's basically the same type of player who is his biggest asset to their team is they're not a good 3-point shooting team, and neither was Fox. So he gives them the element of a good to above, well above average 3-point shooter for their team. So I think that can be the help. He plays less defense than what Fox does. Okay, so Fox at least had the ability, to stop a guy every now and again. So yeah, and maybe ultimately the biggest winner will be the Bulls, because now they can really go full tilt into retooling this team, probably have a coaching change, and they can go forward, because what they have been doing the last 5 to 7 years has gotten them nowhere.
I mean, listen, you're a Cubby guy. I mean, you got the White Sox there. The Bears are maybe in the right direction with a new coach. What the Bulls? I mean, this is a major market, and they play like they're the Tampa Bay Rays.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, all the teams. Well, I mean, the ownership of the Bulls. The Bulls and the White Sox is the same. So I mean, where are you going there? Got a 90-year-old owner, and his olive lieutenants are maybe either 2 to 3 years either side of him. I mean, there's just no fresh thinking, anything like that. Had their run, great for them, but these days those are over.
And so the Kings, I look at they got 2 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks. Second-round picks in the NBA, they're worthless, right? I mean, like what?
They're trade capital at this point. That's what they are.
All right. Well, I guess we got to talking some free picks here. We spent an hour on the NBA there and some Super Bowl stuff, but hey, That's what we do here sometimes, folks. Sometimes we have a little shorter show than others, not a lot going on. And then we have a day like this where it's an interesting weekend. We got to talk about things. So if you're hung around this long, well, thank you for one, because most people probably be like, where's the free pick? They're looking in the description box and heading right down to this. So if you're heading right down to this, well, there you go. Hit the like button, subscribe. GamblersWorld.net for all the premium stuff, because this is a free play here from Doug, Chip, and myself. We are 21-22 in the NBA, gentlemen. I didn't give – Doug hit a parlay the other day here, and it was almost a 2-to-1, but I just count as one, because if we start going into stuff that, we're not switching that stuff around. So kind of just a one win for the day here. So 21-22, a little work for the three of us, which is odd because, we got Mr. NBA here and you're doing well also in the NBA, Doug. We'll improve, folks. We'll improve. Let's, you were talking about the Bucks, right? We're just talking about them. OKC, 11.5-point favorites here. 232.5. Where is this line at? Who's sitting out? I've seen nothing, but this line tells me somebody's sitting out. I know that Milwaukee's in a back-to-back. They dropped 3 in a row, 9-13 on a road. I guess they're quote-unquote due. You think this would be, hey, we're playing OKC. It's a peer. It's a finals-type champion caliber team. We're going to get up for the game. 11.5 points?
Yeah, it opened at 7.5. I mean, that was the opening number on the game. So something, the money's driving it. So what's the problem with the Bucks? Well, the Bucks yesterday, in fact, my play was against the Bucks yesterday at Gamblers World. Is I had Memphis. Milwaukee's lost 3 in a row, 4 out of 5. Last night outscored 39-20 in the fourth quarter. Just destroyed. They ended up losing. I think it was 11 points. I think they ended up losing. So what's the problem with the Bucks? Same that it's been for the last 2 years, a lack of defense. In those 4 losses, they have given up an average of 132 points a game. I mean, that's Chicago Bulls like, okay? I mean, that's as bad as it gets. So what's the problem? Here's the problem with the Bucks. On their roster, they have 6 players that are 30 years or older on their roster. Of those 5 of those guys are in their top 8 rotation. Bobby Portis is also in the rotation. He's the youngster at 29, okay, in that group. So what happens? Both of you guys know this. What happens when teams get older? Typically, they slow the games down, run the shot clock, try and limit possessions to where they can control the tempo of the game, okay? So then that also helps their defense by doing that. Well, the Bucks are not doing that because Doc Rivers is not the genius that he was given credit for when he was with the Boston Celtics. So you add that together, bad news. Now, you're going to play Memphis and Oklahoma City. Playing those 2 teams back-to-back in any situation is bad. Now you're doing it in back-to-back nights. Yikes, okay? So in this one, the 11.5 is even a little rich for me. And the argument can be paid, well, Doug, why would you then consider the first half line, okay, instead? Well, here's my reasoning. I mean, if anything, the Bucks are going to be a step slower. Oklahoma City is rested. They were off yesterday. And in this case, a team in the first half line, after allowing 115 or more points in their last 3 games against an opponent that led their last 3 games by 5 or more points at halftime, those teams are just 14-42 against the first half line. Let's go with Oklahoma City, okay, to take care of business, -7 on the first half line.
Official pick here, Doug Upstone. First half play, -7, Thunder over the Bucks. And yeah, like you think you got no gas left in the tank. You're an older squad, back-to-back. Portis looks like he's going to be out again. Maybe somebody else is going to be on the back-to-back spot. I'm with you. And I'd even probably lean to a little bit, probably a game over here, because I think the Thunder are a little rested to probably want to run and gun there. Maybe a team total for me there. But Chip, what do you think about this game?
Well, I want to comment on something Doug said. Having mature players over 30 on the court, I think one of the Bucks' problems is one of their non-players. And I'm talking about Doc Rivers. I think he has done more to say bring this team down. They're 27-21, but they're totally not impressive this year. The Greek Freak once in a while could just has outrageous games, but otherwise his team just has been so inconsistent. Milwaukee beat Oklahoma City in the NBA Championship Cup, and that game didn't even count. They were a 5-point underdog. They win the game. It doesn't even account toward the standings. But they do have that cup. I think it's about this size. The 8 of the last 10 games that Milwaukee have played have gone over. And the Thunder have gone over 8-1-1 in their last 10. I think that's the way to go here. I'd lay the 11.5 if I could, but I would make the play on the over between these two. Like you said, the Bucks aren't playing much defense, and Oklahoma City, who had the best record in the West last year, 38-10 this year. I think they're a great ball club, and they're young, and they've been playing through injuries as well.
Yep.
Yeah, like team total 121.5 for OKC there, by the way, if you're interested in that. But official pick, first half -7 for the Thunder there. And we all think that OKC is going to take care of business here, basically.
Yeah.
Probably going to be representatives from the West when it comes down to some June finals action here. Again, this is Doug's free play. Get his premium action. 55% for his NBA this year at 2025. Nice little run to start the new year here from Doug with NBA. So go get his premium stuff as well. Next game up here, the Houston Rockets, a surprise team this year, probably right up there with Detroit. Not people expect them to roll out a 32-win season. 6.5-point dog. Here's another kind of big line that makes you kind of wonder about a big line. The Knicks laying 6.5 here, 224. They just lost to the Lakers. Okay, that's fine, but you had some big wins. You have 144 on Memphis. You drop 143 on Sacramento. The offense has been there. Brunson's banged up. Doesn't look like he's going to play this game. The line is still there. Knicks have put together a nice little run. Going back, I'm looking at since January 4th, these guys are home. They have not really traveled, right, Doug? You brought up the fact they went to Philly for a game. They played in Brooklyn. We go back to December, and they went down and played Washington twice. They had a game in OKC. Like, not a lot of travel in the last 3 months for these guys. So they put together some wins under favorable conditions. 6.5, though, tonight versus a Rockets team that's pretty darn good. Is this a little steep here, or is it one of those, like, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe, the low-hanging fruit? We're going to take the Knicks here at home, 6.5. They're going to run away with it. Total 224. Chip Chrimbes.
Tough number to figure out, other than the fact that Houston is been a little banged up. They're without their center, and they're going to be without Van Fleet. But the key component for the Knicks, how do you pronounce his name, Doug? The guard who's out?
The guard for OC.
Well, you just mentioned him in the trade. He's such a key component to the Knicks. Defensively, offensively, he rebounds. He's out with a sprained ankle. I don't know how it's going to. Both these teams have won 32 games, but Houston, like you said, Sean, it was unexpected. I think I expected a little bit more out of them, and am I getting it? 32-16 on the year, and a tremendous number, 28-19 against the points. Whereas the Knicks are almost the exact same record, and they're only 500 against the points. Both these teams off bad Saturday losses. Houston loses to Washington, and the Knicks, of course, got beat by the Lakers at home. With this guard missing, who's out tonight for the Knicks, let's put it this way: there's 14-17 when he does not play. When he does play, 58-23. So it makes it very difficult for me to lay the points here, even though I think the Knicks are the side because of this number and because of the injuries to Houston. But this Houston's been very, very good time in and time out. I'll lay the Knicks.
Knicks -6.5 for Chip Chrimbes, who is number one in the NBA, folks, on the site. Not a bad season here from Mr. NBA. 105-66, 61%. Are you kidding me? Holy cow. And I did say Brunson. It was OG who was out. So before you go freaking out in the thing, Chip had corrected me. And you know what happens? I made a mistake, folks. Relax.
That's all right.
Good try me. A free pick. Knicks -6.5. Doug Upstone, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, all this injury stuff to me makes the game very confusing. And I'll add another element to it. They both play tomorrow. So, guys, maybe do you play your guys today that are questionable and not tomorrow? Do you play them or let them sit today? I mean, that I don't know what to look at. Here's what I'm looking at, though. Did you say the total was 224?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So 224. In these teams' last 5 games, Houston's average total has been 227. The Knicks are at 236. the last 143 times, okay, a team like the Rockets had a total of 220 or higher, and they have gone over the total by 24 or more points in their last 3 games, and both teams have what would be considered a good win percentage of at least 60%. The average score of that next game would be 119.8. So I'm going to go under the 124 for the Knicks in Houston tonight.
There you go. Under for Doug. As you mentioned, Knicks in Toronto tomorrow. Houston going to Brooklyn, who Brooklyn just beat in the last game. Well, went to Houston and won, upsetting them. That was 2 losses in a row for the Rockets. So, do they rest here and think, all right, we'll get an easier game tomorrow, let a guy sit out, get an extra rest? Same thing with the Knicks. Like, hey, we got to, they get fined now. You start resting guys on the road, it's frowned upon. But official show pick. So Knicks -6.5 for Chip Chrimbes. Doug Upstone, Oklahoma Thunder -7 first half. And here we go. Sacramento Kings, Minnesota Timberwolves for me. A 4.5-point dog for the new look Kings. Total 221.5. Talk about just a couple 500 teams playing ball. A lot more expected. I thought Minnesota would kind of take a step forward. Scott Pritchard just likes to run and just go all in on Anthony Edwards having a terrible everything about him, not a leader, all this stuff. They had put together a nice run, and I said to him, hey, man, this is the team you thought they were. They won 4 or 5 in a row, looking good. Yeah, well, they've come crashing back down to earth, and now you have last night they lose to the Wizards. I'm like, how do you lose to the Wizards? I get it. The NBA, you play a game, anything could happen. Edwards didn't play. He was out with, like most guys, we can't play all these games. You need a day off. Some cat, Nickel Walkman, I don't know who this dude is. Taking a final shot. You get within 2 with 10 seconds. You're down 2. They turn the ball over with 10 seconds left, so you have a chance to win the game for us over. Let's what are we gonna do? We're gonna launch a 3. We're gonna shoot a 3 with a guy who's 2 for 9 from 3-point range. Man, just take it to the basket, bro. What are you doing? Maybe you get fouled and you get 3 anyway. But no, we got to play for the win and shoot 37-footers. That's why you're 500, Minnesota, because you play nonsense like this. And the Kings look so good. They made their coaching change. Things are going well. I want to trade. Then you get this looking over their heads. They bring in Levine. Again, the Bulls and DeRozan and him didn't do anything. I look at this one, though. I'm just going to go over the total. I'm going to say I got 2 500 teams, 2 teams looking for identities themselves. They don't know what they are or who they are. It could be just mercenary, every man for himself kind of scoring, right? We got to work guys into the thing. Screw it. I'm just going to shoot the ball. Where are we going this season? 221.5 looks good to me over the total between the Kings and Wolves. For me, my official show pick here. Again, 21 and 22 at the show picks here, folks. We'll improve. It's only John. We got plenty of time. We got plenty of time to get money in the pocket here. Doug Upstone, thoughts on the Kings and the Wolves?
I don't like the game at all, okay, myself. So I'm going with the player prop, okay? Rudy Gobert. It's over under 11.5 for rebounds. He has fallen below that number 9 of his last 12 games, and he's going up against Sabonis, who is the number 1 rebounder in the NBA. And Sabonis has a huge advantage, even though it's not by height. He's only 6'10" compared to Gobert. But the thing is, he's quicker, okay? He has an uncanny ability to position himself to get rebounds. Gobert, you can see it in his play. He's a little bit slower. He's never been a very good athlete. He used to be a top 7 rebounder on an every year basis. Now he's in the top 12. He's number 12. So to me, I'm going to go under Sabonis under Gobert 11.5 rebounds.
A little player prompt from Doug Upstone there. Gotta love that. Nice. Chip Chrimbes, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, first off, John, I'd like to correct myself. I had said that Houston got beat by Washington. It was Minnesota that lost by Washington. Houston got beat by the Nets. And, the Nets and Washington, you can understand how I could transpose those 2 teams. But, I had the wrong team. Minnesota lost to Washington, and Washington had lost 16 in a row prior to that game. But aside from the crazy trade that the Timberwolves made at the beginning of the year, getting rid of Karl Anthony Towns, they've got a guard-laden team. Like I said, when Anthony Edwards, he didn't play last time out. He's hurt. Randall is hurt. And DiVincenzo is hurt. So their firepower, their three guards, which they've built their team around, are all hurting right now. And I think they're in a little bit of trouble. The line opened 5.5, dropped to, I think, 4.5 now. That might be correct. And the last time out, Sacramento, according to their new coach, did not play hard at all. They got beat by 34 points, and I expect them to come out with a big effort today. These are pros. When they come out there, and they have to come back and respond like professionals, and I think that's what's going to happen with the Kings tonight. I would take Sacramento, and this Minnesota team has just been floundering all year. They're 20-28 against the number, and not that that's going to help Sacramento. They've only covered 17 of 46 games, but I'm going to take the Kings here.
All right, listen. Kings gave up to 144 points to the Thunder, who are better than Minnesota. But like I said, you're off a game where you lose by 30 or whatever. Yeah. You're going to look to score. I got Minnesota who scored 103 points and lost at home. They're going to score. Give me the over 221.5 here as the official free pick here from me. Again, these are the free picks, folks. GamblersWorld.net. Go over Chip Chrimbes. He's ready with NBA tonight. Doug Upstone got NBA and college hoops for you. Go get a daily pass for Doug. He's got multiple picks up, multiple packages, $69.99. Can't go wrong with that. Get a weekly pass. You get all today's games. Take it right through the Super Bowl as well. I got the Super Bowl. I'm sure guys got the Super Bowl up. Go get it. I mean, it's right there for the taking. Speaking of Super Bowl, and then we'll get out of here. Chip, today in sports, I know there's some kind of Super Bowl nonsense.
There's a couple of them. I'll start with 1876, no football then. But you know who we had? We had a guy named Albert Spalding, and he made the first official baseball with an $800 investment, first basketball, tennis balls, and golf balls that were professionally used. And the Spalding Company, of course, I don't know if they're still making the baseballs, but when I was coaching in high school, we'd buy them by the dozen, and they were beautiful. In 1942, this one's for you, Doug, the baseball owners agreed that they can play 14 night games. Could you imagine? They can't play 14 day games nowadays, right? They allowed them to play 14 night games. The owners came to an agreement in 1942. In 1965, my sophomore year of high school, the Milwaukee Braves offered the city of Milwaukee $500,000 if they'd let them out of their municipal stadium lease so they can move to Atlanta. Milwaukee said no. They didn't get to Atlanta until 1967. Do you know in 1980, Larry Holmes won his first heavyweight championship bout? And do you know who he beat? You have any idea who Larry Holmes beat to become the champion? Must have been his brother, Lorenzo Holmes. I don't even remember that guy. I don't even remember. Usually boxing, you know when it's championship fight who the contenders are. I have no idea. And now we have some things we like to talk about. In 2002, New England under Tom Brady, who started for Bledsoe in the Super Bowl, wins 20-17 with a final drive. And in 2008, of course, this was the great one. I still don't know how Eli Manning got free. I saw the play the other day in the Super Bowl when the Giants beat the undefeated New England Patriots, the helmet catch, and Tyree caught the ball. And that's how they allowed Eli Manning. I mean, they had been calling sacks on people when they grabbed them by the shoelace, and they were in this game, and it looked like Manning was buried, and all of a sudden he pops out and he just heaves the ball up there. We've seen it. I mean, all my Patriot friends are still sick about it. But on this date in 2008, and also on this date 2019, the Patriots beat the Rams 13-3, and Julian Edelman was the MVP. And that's about it for February 3rd, other than the fact that it's also Pam Vespe's birthday.
That I was all over that under that Patriots-Rams game. That was just fabulous. I was at the Ocean in AC watching that one.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of boring. But there was a great one also in New Orleans on this date when Baltimore beat San Francisco 34-31. Kaepernick was quarterbacking. That was in New Orleans. I actually got locked out of that one. I was down there, but that's the way it goes.
The power went out, right? The power went out, and all of a sudden it was a game?
Went out. Yep.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it was a game again. What was that?
And it was like 25 minutes, wasn't it? I mean, I remember walking around in the dark.
Yeah, well, I don't want you. Were probably up to no good. We don't want to hear about that. To come in here, I don't know what you're doing out there.
Well, I survived it.
All right, everybody. Again, Knicks -6 for Chip. Oklahoma City Thunder -7 first half for Doug. I am on the over Kings Wolves 221.5. Back tomorrow with college hoops. Gentlemen, have a good night. Take it easy. See you Thursday.